usti mittetapicioristapintiam et lingua ius.
You know that just got recorded, right?
Oh. That's weird.
I'm gonna leave it though.
No.
Hello, YouTube. I have not done this in a very long period of time, but that's okay though. I've just been kind of busy. So, for one, my room got rearranged, which is really nice. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I also got a fish tank within the time that I have been off. So, Drogon's doing well, although he's going to be needing a new cage here soon, but he's shedding. He's just kind of shedding on and off as is, so that's kind of nice. Nothing's wrong with him. Sal's doing good, still getting big, and he's being really picky with his food. Because I started doing this thing where I mix the two different flavors of Pangea, which are it's the banana and apricot, and then the watermelon, and it's got something else in it, flavored together with Rapashi, and he eats it up. You'd eat like half a dish. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Earl's doing good as usual, you know, just being the best lizard. Look at that sexy leg down there. Sexy leg indeed. I'm going to talk about the fish real quick. So I decided to do a fish tanks again. For one, it's just a tiny 5-gallon, but I'm really looking at getting a 10-gallon like I had last time. But this is all real plants. I'm not ever going to get an algae eater again. I've got 2 black neon tetras. A Cory cat. I had 2 of them, one of them died, so I might get another one because I know they like being together. And then I've got the main reason for having these tanks at all is a beta. This is Jeremy. He's not nearly as red as Alpha, but he's definitely really pretty though. And yeah, definitely looking into getting a 10-gallon because it would fit perfectly right here. Got this light that I got from a friend and ex-girlfriend, might I add. So yeah, I've also been dabbling into looking into if I can move any of these plants down here and maybe look into moving it into the filter and getting rid of the filter pad and use the roots, because these things actually make some really thick roots. Like every time I actually rearranged this, everything was just flat and plants were anywhere they wanted to be, but I rearranged it to where I made a little mound here for the dragon skull that my friend Zach got me, and I was looking into, but when I pulled it all up, the gravel actually came up with some of the roots, which was kind of cool. Not gonna lie, but no, I want to get a 10-gallon tank, and I want to take all this gravel, put it on the bottom of the 10-gallon, and then get some special soil just for plants, because I want to make like those. If you look up aquascaping, besides the company Aquascape, there's definitely some really pretty planted tanks with a bunch of grass growing around, but it doesn't have big substrate like this. So instead of having to buy 2 big bags of it to make up a substrate layer, I'm going to be kind of cheap about it, move all this gravel to the bottom, and then pouring this plant substrate down. In fact, actually, I did experiment with this. It's kind of hard to see with my phone. Actually, I'm going to try turning on my light. It's actually much better. If you see real closely, the gravel does not go all the way down. This is dirt. I actually did what I was thinking about doing, which was using a little bit of soil. I actually have a bag of it around here somewhere, but a little bit of soil and then covering it with gravel, which kind of worked, but at the same time though it's not nearly as what I wanted it, because I've had quite a few plants die because they can't reach the nutrients as well. So I'm just going to get a substrate that's special for them. And now onto the thing a lot of people have been asking for, which I feel I'm kind of remiss to say. This is what's become of the substrate bin. The one aloe plant that was in here, which I don't know if I made an update on that, but that died a while ago. You guys may or may not know this. But yeah, it died because honestly, it's a bin full of a hodgepodge of dirt. I feel like the science behind it that I had was pretty spot on, pretty good. But I really should have I really should have watered it more. So now it just sort of became a trash bin. But look, there's a little superworm beetle in here. See? Not superworm, mealworm beetle. Down there, see? So that's kind of nice. But what I'm going to do, and since my mom doesn't ever watch my YouTube videos, I'm kind of glad. This bin right here. And, oh, we caught him in the middle of it too. Yes, copulation. At least I think it is. It is. Copulation. We have baby making. Okay. This is a bin full of superworm beetles. Related. Actually, not even. They just look the same. But they're not even related to mealworms, actually. These are superworm beetles. So what I do is I filled this up with some of the leaves and I just throw rotting food in here. And it actually creates substrate for them to live in. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to empty this entire bin out and get oats. I'm going to use probably this. Oh, they're mating in here too. That's awesome. But I'm going to use that little lid as a water dish because they don't need it deep. They get most of their stuff from their food. And then I'll throw carrot slices in here and there. And then just kind of go about my day because I can take the carrot slices up with my lizard's food. But what I do is for genetic diversity, I'll take bins of bins that superworms come in. And right now, I've got 2 cooking. I got a big one and a small one. Now I'm going to move the small one probably into this bin here just because I want to watch it grow. But the big one is definitely going to pupate when it's on its own. I just got to start getting it some food. What I do is, obviously, you see the bins that they come in. I use a plate to sift out all of the weird, like, sorry about that, I was adjusting something on my phone. I used to sift out all the weird, like looks like sawdust almost, big chunks of stuff, and then I just kind of leave it empty. But I keep one of these things always empty because I'll pull out one big superworm from each one to provide a little extra genetic diversity. Because you don't want to get all your beetles from the same batch, or else they're just inbreeding. You have a high likelihood of them inbreeding. Now, yes, this is from the same company, but they just have giant bins of these. So I'm assuming it's a better bet that they're not going to be inbreeding, causing funky superworms, because then it's just not good food for my pets. Also, which I don't know if I'm going to use any of this because it's kind of gross, but I'm going to probably go and grab, buy myself a bag of organic topsoil for 2 reasons. One, mixing excavator clay and organic topsoil is, and I think something else, I think it's play sand or something. Mixing it together. And I mean, a lot of topsoil. Your topsoil and your sand are going to probably be equal amounts, so that way it still looks dark enough. I've seen a lot of pictures and videos and whatnot, and instead of making it all complicated like this one, I'm just going to dump these 2 components into a bin, into Earl's tank at some point, and just grow things. I found someone on Facebook who has a list of certain plants that she's grown that her bearded dragon can eat. So I'm going to get those for myself, probably order them online, grow them out, and whatnot. And then I'm going to I'm just going to grow them in there and let that be that. I might use this same stuff that's in there just on the bottom so I have more volume. Because that is a problem. I want there to be room for her to dig around in. Because that would be very beneficial for her. Plus I could bury her tree a little bit to provide new dimensions for her. So she always tries burrowing under this this tan one right here, this brownish tree right here. She always tries burrowing under that, but it's not thick enough, so she ends up just sliding. So I know she wants to start burrowing, not because she's got eggs. I actually had her out yesterday, and she didn't feel lumpy at all. She actually managed to flatten out like a pancake. So she doesn't have eggs, but to stimulate natural behaviors. And then more topsoil, because I want to redo him, because I could grow some really nice plants in here for him. The plants just need the root space. That's not enough. That's probably why my peace lily got trampled. I believe I recorded that. His big butt trampling the peace lily. But look it. It's coming back to life. See? It's got 2 little leaves. Originally it had like 1 partially alive one. Now it's got 2. Slow process. I water them with leftover water in my spray bottle. So that's pretty good. But yeah, it's coming back, and if it does revive and it gets big enough, I can put it in here again. But I need more soil for that, and also I don't know if my springtails lived or not. There might be a worm or two in there still. Hopefully there is. If not, I can just resupply those things, but they need more volume. And also, when I mix it up together, I'm going to make it wet beforehand. But other than that, everybody's doing pretty hunky-dory, especially my fish. Like, I want to look into breeding betas, but I know they make a lot of babies, so if I'm okay with being heartless and freezing some babies, because I want to breed him, I want to breed Mr. Jeremy there with a blue female, so that way I can get that, you know, nice, like, color contrast and whatnot. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, and also, like I said, I rearranged my room. I think this looks a lot nicer, actually. For one, it's a lot more clean. I can always, and I've got a lot more under the bed space, so I can just shove things under there for now. I just put those in there temporarily. It's not where my computer cords live. But yeah, this is what's been going on with me. As you can see, I've got Octopath Traveler. Fantastic game. I might upload another video again today. Because, actually, you know what? I'll just mention it when or if I do it. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. Found a really weeb-ass Naruto headband that I got from my very first convention here in Ohio. Thought that was kind of nice. And my friend Thomas, my boy Thomas, will remember that. And I forgot, I can't. Anyway, battling aside, still haven't gotten over that. Yeah, that's about all that's going on. But yeah, like I said with Bearded Dragons, if you want to do a good bioactive setup, honestly, just organic topsoil. So, not Miracle Grow. Miracle Grow has the Perlite, which is a little, it's like a rock fragment. It's a really chalky. You might think it's some kind of bundled up, like, some kind of like bundled up nutrient tablet. It's not. It's rock to add aeration. You don't want that. What you want for aeration is either leaves, or get earthworms, or maybe even let superworms loose in the substrate, because they'll live in the very bottom, they'll breed, and superworms will come up to the surface, and she will get to eat them. As long as your husbandry is right, plus maybe take her out, and maybe take your lizard out, and make sure they drink, because they don't drink standing water. I have to spray, do light spritzes in her water dish in order to get her to drink. Make sure she drinks, and that's that. Or just feed her superworms. But honestly, though, the earthworms, and even superworms, I've seen them do it. They will eat poop. They do eat it. It's not their favorite thing. They eat anything decaying. Any decaying animal, decaying plant, anything. The beetles will do that. The larvae, on the other hand, the superworms, quote-unquote, will not. I mean, they're a little more picky about that stuff. They'll eat plant matter, decaying plant matter, and probably decaying animal matter, but decaying leaves are probably your best bet. Honestly. Plus, if they get a little bit of your Bearded Dragon's food out of their dish, which she will still be dish fed, obviously. If they get a little food out of the dish, that means you know that they're getting what you're putting into your lizard, so it's extra. It's pretty good shit. So, yeah. I guess that's about that. I'd also like to say, if you want more in-depth stuff on, say, reptiles or fish, since I'm still new at this, I would highly recommend following Paul Cafaro and Camp Kennan on here on YouTube. They are fantastic YouTubers if you don't already. And if you do, maybe do me a small favor and like say, hey, this new guy, Super Blade 7 sent me here, so like, I don't know, because I actually found out there are people that watch my videos. Didn't know that. So anyway, my Nergigante and Formigala statues will be signing us out. Peace.